want to explain a really good piece of news, a piece of great news for you. So, back to your anxious brain, your anxious mind. It's now producing these chemicals, getting you ready to move via your autonomic nervous system. Why might it be called auto? Yes, you're right, it's because it's automatic. Via the autonomic nervous system, your brain is going to contact all of your organs. The autonomic nervous system is split into two parts. There's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So in the case that I'm wandering out on the street here in London and I walk out into the road, maybe I'm distracted looking at my phone and I look round and all of a sudden a car is going to hit me, I don't use my human brain to think through, hey, what are all my options here? No, instantly and totally, my emotional brain says, threat, get Ben out the way of that car. Instantly and totally it takes over my body, and thank goodness for that. That's a proper survival situation, isn't it? And via the sympathetic branch of my autonomic nervous system, get to know these terms, guys, the sympathetic branch, all of a sudden my vision, I lose my peripheral vision. My vision is narrowed onto the threat, in this case a car coming. My breathing goes higher and faster up into my chest. My heart rate is therefore increased. My blood pressure is increased. My digestion of food, all the blood flow to my gut to digest my food, well, that's not important to survival right now, so helpfully that blood flow is taken away from my gut and put to my limbs to get me out the way of the car. When we get nervous, our mouths go dry. Why? Because the saliva glands, they work by blood flow going to them, and guess what? Having a dry mouth or having saliva is not important in a survival situation. That's why our mouth goes dry when we get nervous. So it's all part of this survival mechanism that's kept us as a species alive, and we share that with many, many other animals in terms of the sympathetic nervous system. So the great news, let me come back to the great news I told you about. The great news is if I keep online my parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system that's sometimes called the rest and digest nervous system. So in the case I'm about to get run over by the car, so my sympathetic nervous system jacks me up, gets me ready to move. Instantly if I'm lucky, I get out the way of the car. And then I see the car driving off into the distance. My emotional brain looks at the car driving off into the distance and goes, okay, let's go back to using our parasympathetic nervous system. I get the blood flow back to my gut. I start digesting my food. My heart rate comes down. My blood pressure comes down. My breathing goes, now more relaxed. And I'm using my diaphragm to breathe now. I feel better, I've got my hearing back, my vision back, all of that. Now, the good news is that if I deliberately keep my body using my parasympathetic nervous system, then my body physically cannot go to an extreme of a sympathetic nervous system response. I might not feel 100% in that customer meeting, but I could stop myself going to full kind of panic, anxiety attack mode, and that's nice, isn't it? So in summary, when we go fight, flight, freeze, we can think about that the sympathetic nervous system has slammed the accelerator down on our body. That's what's happened. Now we have the power to hit the brake, and we hit the brake by keeping online our parasympathetic nervous system.